I have been sick, so that's why there hasn't been any videos for the last little bit. But now we're back, so let's go! Your eyelids fall shut and your breathing inevitably begins to even out. It is not long until you are spiraling through a dark, deep abyss, lost in Morpheus's kingdom. But your sleep, despite your wearied state, is not as restorative as you had hoped. Your imagination has always been overactive. Even at the conservatoire, you were frequently beset by dreams of the most vivid nature. The dreams that you have this night, lying beneath unfamiliar sheets upon an unfamiliar bed, are no less intense than usual. In your dreams, you are back at the conservatoire, the place where this adventure of yours began. You are wearing the crisp white blouse you once discarded and your gray, unremarkable skirt. Your hair is tied in braids and your eyes are downturned, forever focused upon your feet. You tried to not look at your classmates, and you thought yourself fortunate if they did not look at you in return. You did not want anybody to notice you. Until that awful winter, that is, where everybody stopped paying attention to you for good. Nobody tried to trip you when you walked past them in the hallways. Nobody, in fact, so much as glanced at you. All of a sudden, there were no malicious whispers, no wicked laughter, no pulled hair, and no thrown objects. You were giddy with relief at first over the newfound means of tormenting you that your classmates had derived. But this little game that complete and utter disregard continued and on and on and on as the days grew shorter and the nights grew longer. As the time passed, you began to fret as to the state of your own corporeality. So the dream's talking about me feeling like a ghost. Maybe I'm right about this person being a ghost. I guess this is just the start of the video. I should explain this person being like the person in the cabin that we've been talking to, the gravedigger. Could anybody still see you? Did you even exist at all? Then, at long last, you found it, quite by accident, the source of all your woes. One of the girls had erected it in the forest through which you had sometimes bidden to jog for PE class, beneath the shade cast by an old oak tree. It was a makeshift tombstone, a small, meager monument made of stone, upon which one of your classmates had hewn a new name. Your name. You knew at once, as you stood there, standing beneath the shade of that ancient tree, that this was the reason behind your classmates' silence. This is why they had, for many months, been ignoring you astutely. They had buried you. In their hearts, you had already died. Your eerie dreams notwithstanding, you sleep more comfortably than you had anticipated. When you awake the following morning to the sweet chirping of birdsong, you feel well rested, albeit woozy. Your head is aching. It is nothing, however, that a cup of hot tea cannot fix. You stumble into the kitchen in your nightclothes, your hair loose and your feet bare, and the gravedigger turns to you. She looks at your face, which is pasty, and your under eyes, which are dark, and exclaims in the manner one most accustomed to solving problems, not complaining about them. "Oh, you look awful. I think you need something warm to drink, and maybe you need something to eat, too. Let me get started on breakfast." And that is exactly what she does. She gets started on breakfast, which proves to be quite the God damn it. She gets started on breakfast, which proves to be quite the simple affair, nothing like the luxurious food you were accustomed to in your past life. The bread is hard enough to break your teeth on, and the cheese is a bit too strong. It is food all the same, though, and you do not complain. Your stomach was beginning to grumble. The tea is inoffensive, at least, and you drink it gracefully. You thank the gravedigger girl for her hospitality, and she smiles at you in return, a sunny smile, like a field of blooming bellfellows. Bell Flowers. It's no problem. Don't hesitate to ask me if you need anything else, she says, words which come to symbolize your relationship. You stay with the gravedigger for many, many more days, and limited though her means might be, she always tries to help you. The gravedigger sets you chores about the house to keep you occupied, a fact for which you are grateful. You need something to do to keep your mind off your frantic flight through the forest. You can almost forget about it now during the day. During the night, however, it returns to you, the sound of your feet against the foliage and the swirling fog. When you sleep, you are assailed by your nightmares. Me too. Sometimes you awake after midnight, the sheets twisted around your body and your mouth gaping open in paroxysm of that word of terror. Though you try to tell yourself otherwise, you are still afraid. Being with the gravedigger makes you feel less so, though, particularly when you are sweeping the floor or keeping an eye on the bread loaves so they do not burn. You attend to the most You attend to the most there's no the there. You attend to most of the domestic chores, while the gravedigger concerns herself with the work she knows best, that is, digging graves. Her dogged persistence when it comes to this pursuit intrigues you, so much so that you cannot help but posit a question to her on one particular morning when the sky is festooned with clouds. Why, you ask her, perhaps a touch insensitively, do you continue to dig graves? Well, 'cause she's gonna put me in one, obviously. There is nobody left, after all, to dig them for. You have always been practical, and you cannot see the point in it. What's the point in it? The gravedigger ponders while holding her precious shovel to her chest. Fortunately, she does not seem upset by your question, despite its bluntness. I mean, she looks pretty upset to me. You should count yourself lucky, and her temperament is so very placid. I don't suppose there is any point to it, really, the gravedigger eventually says with a small smile. I know it doesn't have any practical purpose, but, well, digging graves is what my father did. He showed me how to do it so I could continue his legacy. My father wanted to keep our family tradition going, and I suppose I want to do the same. That's all there is to it, really. That's all it is? You think you can understand that. Though your companion's actions might appear to be illogical, there is a kernel of reason nestled among them. She does not dig graves. She does not dig graves out of any sense of purpose. She does it instead out of sentiment. Sides, I have nothing. Sides, I have nothing. Opposite of nothing. Sides, I have something to keep myself busy, don't I? If I spent my days idling all on my own, I think I'd go mad. The gravedigger laughs at this, as though the prospect of her own madness is amusing. Her laugh, despite her slender stature, is not particularly delicate. It reminds you, perhaps unkindly, of the braying of a horse. You are ashamed to be thinking such a thing, though, and your face flushes with the guilt of it. We cannot all be well-bred young ladies, you know. Still, the laughter of the gravedigger as it echoes through the gray, gloomy sky is strangely desperate. It sounds forced. Her smile, too, is a touch unnatural, like the rictus grin of a corpse. Okay, she's definitely undead. Like, come on. You find, despite your attempts to return her laughter with a polite giggle, that you cannot help but pity her. You retreat indoors briefly after you talk with the gravedigger, then set about some simple chores. The gravedigger trusts you well enough to manage sweeping the floor, a task that does not take particularly long, and the preparing of the meals, a task which takes slightly longer. It is not until much later, however, once the sun has already sunk beneath the horizon and the moon is high in the sky, that the gravedigger returns from the outdoors. She is windswept after many hours spent exposed to the elements, and there is dirt caked beneath her fingernails. The gravedigger removes her cloak, which she hangs by the door, then looks to the pot suspended over the fire, a fire which you stoked with your own fair hands. The scent of cooking food, that of garlic and onions, fills the air, suffusing the interior of the kitchen in a homey aroma which makes your stomach rumble. Taking stock of this, the gravedigger smiles at you, a toothy smile, which despite her status as a lowly peasant is surprisingly clean and wet and bright and white. Okay, that makes me think it is more likely to be a ghost than a zombie. I mean, a bunch of things. I'm definitely leaning towards ghost, because this line would definitely not be in there if she was a zombie. Thank you so much, dear one. There's nothing like returning home after a hard day's work to find dinner already prepared. Now let me give it a test. The gravedigger dips a spoon into the soup, then brings it to her lips. She blows upon it. Then she places the spoon in her mouth, the wooden utensil clacking against her teeth. You observe this with a touch of anxiety. Will she like the food you have prepared for her? You have cooked for her before in the past, and she always was very complimentary of your efforts. Cooking is not your forte, however. You never had to concern yourself with it, really, growing up in relative comfort as you did. You think that you enjoy this ritual, rustic mode of existence more than you did any of the privileges of your past life. At least now, with the gravedigger, you have a steadfast friend, a staunch ally. When you are with her, you are not alone, and that is worth its weight in gold. The gravedigger exclaims after drawing the spoon from her lips, her smile a bright, guileless one. It's delicious. Your face flushes at this compliment. You are unaccustomed to receiving them, and it makes you feel good. Shyly, you ask the gravedigger if she truly means that, a query which makes the gravedigger smile. Of course I mean it. You've become quite good at cooking, really. That is a relief. You were not very good at all of this cooking malarkey in the beginning. You did not know how to handle a knife, nor how to peel a vegetable, and you cut yourself more than once. You bled into the soup on several occasions, but never once did you throw this sullied soup out. The gravedigger lives a humble existence, and she cannot afford to waste her precious ingredients. Your soups during your stay have all been seasoned with the slightest hint of iron. Today's soup, however, is a marked step above all the rest. You did not cut yourself with the knife even once. Maybe your companion's compliments are not empty fluff. Maybe you really are improving. This soup should be ready to serve. I have some bread, too, that we can eat with it, but I should brew some tea, too. Yes, the tea. You knew that you were forgetting something. You were so focused on the soup it must have slipped your mind. Your face flushes yet again at this oversight, and shyly you offer to correct it. The gravedigger, however, waves your request aside. No, it's all right. You made the dinner, so I'll brew the tea. It's only fair, and it won't take all that long. Would you mind serving up the soup while I'm busy? Of course you would not mind. You enjoy making yourself useful. For a lady, you are awfully domestic. You work alongside the gravedigger to finish your nightly meal, and together you serve it, soup and bread, alongside 2 cups of piping hot tea, prepared by your hostess's own 2 hands. You sit together at the table, then partake in this simple fare after saying grace. The soup really is quite good, despite it being made from only the most commonplace of ingredients. There is a bit of a kick to it, and it warms you from the inside out. The tea, meanwhile, is very soothing, so much so it makes you feel rather sleepy. You would like to sit with the gravedigger for a little while longer and tell stories, as you sometimes have in the past, that or play cards. The nights are long, and there is no better way to pass them than spending time with her. Games of old maid, alas, will have to wait. You are too tired for it. You do not know what has happened, but after consuming your victuals, you feel utterly fatigued. Oh my God, she's drugged me. Now she's gonna bury me alive. God damn it. You explain your predicament to the gravedigger between your yawns, and she nods in response. That's all right. You don't need to stay up with me. Not if you ain't up to it. You should head off to bed and rest that pretty head of yours. You do not think you are particularly pretty, but you presume the gravedigger is just regurgitating a phrase to you. This character's so insecure. Just like me for real. God damn it. She does not truly mean it. How could she? She is far prettier than you are. You thank the gravedigger for her understanding, then rise from the table. You retreat to the spare bedroom on trembling legs, then change out of your clothes. You have only just slid into your nightgown when you hear the rapping of knuckles upon your door, light and unobtrusive. This rapping could, of course, belong to but one person. It is the gravedigger, come to check up on you. I'm sorry, the gravedigger says in her soft voice, but you rushed to your room so soon after eating I couldn't help but worry about you. Would you mind if I took a look at you? I just want to see if you're all right. This is somewhat weird. Maybe she didn't drug me? Or maybe she drugged me with whatever the whole plague thing has been happening, and she's like making me sick from the plague. Because it wasn't really a plague, it was her drugging everybody in the town one by one until they all died. The gravedigger is trying to keep her voice steady, but you can hear it wavering regardless. She really does sound concerned, so much so she could very well be on the brink of tears. You do not want her to cry for you. You would feel horribly guilty if you upset her, even inadvertently, given all that she has done for you. You bid the gravedigger entry into your room, therefore, without further delay, an invitation that she hastens to take. The door swings inward with a creak, and there your hostess stands, still attired in black. I would call that green. I mean, I know there's like black elements to it, but I would probably describe that outfit as a whole as green rather than black. I don't know, it seems a little weird. Her clothes, a stark contrast to your pure white, well, off-white, nightgown. The gravedigger looks at you, seated in bed with your hair freed from your usual braids. Oh, I have braids. I didn't realize. And exhales. It is that relief you wonder. Oh, is that relief you wonder playing about her face? But why? Well, because she thought I had the plague. What was she expecting to see exactly before entering your bedchamber? Thank you for letting me in, the gravedigger says, toying with her fingers. How do you feel? Not too terrible, you reassure her. There's no particular problems with your health, you just feel tired. Are you sure you're not sick? Your face does look a bit pale. That would be nothing out of the norm. You are always pale. True. Now, is there anything I can do for you? Would you like something warm to drink, or maybe a hot brick to place on a hot brick? It should keep you warm. You appreciate your hostess's thoughtfulness, but you reassure that this won't be necessary. You will be fine. I hope so. I thought that about my father too before he... The gravedigger begins, but her voice soon trails off. She does not finish that thought. She does not need to. You know now that what she was thinking of before she entered your bedroom. Cold, clammy skin, a sweating brow, rank, oozing pustules. You think upon these symptoms, which are eerily similar to those recounted during the Great Plague which once beset your own country, and you shudder. If you don't want anything, then I'll be on my way, the gravedigger says. But before that... Before that? This was just a fancy on my part, but I was wondering, would you mind if I brushed your hair for a little while? Your hair? That's right. It's such a pretty shade of red is all, and I just thought... well, it's just a fancy, really. You don't have to let me, not if you don't want to, but I thought it might help you relax if you're feeling under the weather. I've heard it's supposed to be smoothing. Soothing. That is what the gravedigger says, but you have the distinct feeling that she is the one... That is what the gravedigger says, but you have the distinct feeling that she is the one looking for solace here. She is not quite so selfless, perhaps, as she would like you to think. I mean, she seemed pretty clear that she was the one who wanted to do it. I don't think she's trying to make it seem like she's doing it all for you. But she has been so very good to you and has done so much for you, so very much for you, that you do not want to begrudge her this small self-indulgence. You rather think she deserves it. You agree, therefore, to her request, and upon doing so, you are certain you have made the right choice. Your hostess's face lights up immediately in a manner which makes you blush. Oh, thank you. It'd be my honor. Now let me fetch my brush. The gravedigger retreats from your room in a hurry, but returns soon thereafter, holding in her right hand the promised brush. This artifact acquired, the gravedigger then settles herself upon your bed by your side. She looks at your hair for a few moments, her expression pensive. Then she announces that she will begin. The gravedigger leans in. The wooden frame of the bed creaks under her weight, a creak which melds with the sighing of the breeze outdoors. You can feel the bristles of the brush running through your hair. It is soothing enough, so much so it makes you shiver. The sensation is a pleasant one and somewhat nostalgic. Did your mother do this for you, you wonder, when you were a little girl? If she did, it must have been when you were a very little girl. You have not seen your mother in quite some time, not after you enrolled at the conservatoire. Oh, you have such lovely hair, dear one. It's soft, just like silk, not at all like mine. Mine is so coarse. The gentle voice draws you out of your vague, half-formed reminiscences. It sounds as though the gravedigger is lost in nostalgia of her own, because her voice, when she speaks next, is dreamy. I think my mother used to brush my hair like this for me back when she were still alive. That must have been a long time ago, though. It's funny, you think, as the bristles of the brush continue to slide through your tresses, that you and the gravedigger should both be reminiscing in tandem about your respective mothers. Perhaps there is something maternal in the act of brushing one's hair, which is wont to summoning forth such images. I would not know, personally. I cannot remember my own mother at all. Once again, the narrator is talking to us. I'm so curious who the narrator is at the end of this. I don't think I liked having my hair brushed very much, the gravedigger continues, her breath warm against the exposed nape of your neck. My mother used to complain that I squirmed too much. I can remember that. She always told me to sit still, though it wasn't my fault I squirmed. She used too much force. Now this is curious. It sounds as though the reminiscences of the gravedigger are not particularly fond after all. Did she not get along well with her mother? I can't rightly say, the gravedigger replies, in a somber sort of voice. I was young, like I said, when she died. I really don't remember her too well. But I don't think she ever had much time for me. She was too busy with all the cooking and the cleaning. Oh, and looking after my baby brothers. But she had time enough, despite that, to brush your hair? She did what she felt she had to make me look presentable. Not that it really worked. I wasn't like the other girls in the village, you see, who like to sit indoors with their mothers and sew. I always loved the outdoors. My father said I inherited that from him." Ruefully, the gravedigger smiled, not that you can see it with your back facing her. "My mother said I wasn't very, well, maidenly. She didn't like that I always traipsed around outside after my father, watching as he dug graves. She said it wasn't appropriate, like I was some sort of princess wearing a fine dress." The gravedigger snorts. "I used to get a bit muddy, yes, and maybe I did get burrs in my clothes and knots in my hair, but it shouldn't have mattered. It's not like I ever had any hopes of marrying a prince, no matter what my mother said." But still, she hoped. She had a lot of hopes, my mother, high hopes. I think she might have resented my father, maybe, for working such a menial job. Our profession is an honest one, but it's never made much money. I think my mother was hoping for fine jewels and dresses and, oh, I don't know, she always had ideas. Her head was full of fairy tales. It was a shame, I suppose, that her reality didn't match up to what she wanted. I didn't match up to what she wanted. The bitterness in your friend's voice is unmistakable, so much so you want to console her. What would you say to her, though? You never met your companion's mother. You never will, either. Her cold, inert body has been laying in the graveyard, buried beneath a tombstone for over a decade. You have no way of ascertaining whether your companion's mother truly cared for her. You do have intelligence enough, however, to understand poorly thought-out condolences can cause more harm than good. You would not like it if people tried to reassure you that, of course, your father loved you, really. If he loved you, then why did he send you away from home? Why did he never send you any letters? You know he was worried about his finances, but that seems a poor excuse to pretend that his only daughter did not exist. As for your own mother, meanwhile, she was nice, at least you think she was, but she was woefully ineffectual. Though she was nominally an adult, she always cleaved before your father's judgment. You think that she was afraid of him. You do not try to tell the gravedigger, therefore, that her mother loved her, that she must have done, else she would not have given birth to her. Instead, you sit there, letting the brush run through your hair, and you say, quietly, that you understand. Sometimes you feel like a disappointment yourself. "Well," the gravedigger says after a pause, "I'm glad I'm not the only one. I guess it happens to all of us." You guess so. Parents are only people, after all. Well, one would hope one's parents would be kind and attentive? Would be kind and attentive. They, too, can fall victim to caprices of their own. Just because one has brought a child into this world does not mean one will be able to care of it. I'm a record. Just because one has brought a child into this world, it does not mean that one will be able to take care of it properly. Not all parents are responsible, just as not all people are responsible. It is a painful subject. Oh well, it's all right if my mother never liked me, or even if she never loved me. I know my father did, and that's all that matters. He was always there for me, no matter what. Your companion's voice catches in her throat. She winces. At least, until he wasn't. He died, and I didn't do a thing to help him. Your companion's shoulders are beginning to shake. You still cannot see her, but you can feel her body convulsing. You can sense her loneliness rolling off her in waves. It's all-consuming, like the waters of a deep, dark ocean. Grief anew pierces your heart, not on your behalf, but for the sake of your benefactress. She does not deserve to suffer so much. This you have no qualms with telling her. You turn to face her and pluck the brush which has been hovering in the air, inert, from her fingers. Then you let her know that her father's death was not her fault. What could she have done? She could not have cured his illness. I know, but I can't help think, but what if? I keep racking my head over and over trying to come up with something. I can't think of anything, and even if I could, it's too late. He's already dead. He's dead and buried. I buried him, and now I'm all alone. She might have been alone, you tell the gravedigger, but she isn't now, not anymore. How can she be when you are there? I know that, I know, and I'm grateful, but I don't know if I deserve it. Why would she not deserve your company? You do not understand. Because I couldn't do nothing for nobody. My father always looked out for me when I was a little girl, but when he needed me the most, I failed him. I failed everyone. All of the villagers, all of my friends, all died. What would I do if the same thing happened to you? I don't think I could bear it. I don't want you getting sick, too, not when I care about you so much. I thought I'd gotten used to being on my own, but now that you're here, it's making me worry all over again. I've been worrying so much I can't sleep from it. I'm scared. Your companion's voice catches in her throat. Then she collapses in on herself. She leans forwards, her arms wound about her middle, as if to steady herself. Then she cries. She cries and cries and she cries. For a few moments you look at the gravedigger, unsure of what to do. Her pale face, streaked with silvery tears, seemed to flicker in the candlelight. Her shoulders, which seem too slender to bear the accumulative weight of all the sorrows she has endured, are shaking. Your fatigue continues to cling to you, as insistent as the fog which rolls amongst the tombstones in the graveyard at night. You are not so very tired, however. You cannot offer your hostess some comfort. You do not know what you can say to console her. You feel too wary to think of pretty sophisms. But there is something you can think of. You would not be typically so bold, of course, but you are tired enough for once to throw caution to the wind. That and the tears of the gravedigger are awfully arresting. You open your arms, and before the gravedigger can pass comment, you pull her to your chest. Look at eyes, so cute. When's she gonna kill me? A soft exclamation escapes the lips of the gravedigger, quieter than the sound of wintry snow as it brushes the ground. Then there is nothing. The gravedigger is stiff in your arms for a few moments, like the corpses she and her father used to seal away inside their wooden coffins. She is all wide eyes and awkward, all pointed elbows, tears still coursing down her pale cheeks. You worry briefly as you hold her that you have perhaps made a mistake. Were your attempts at consoling her too clumsy? You would not know. You have never been in a situation like this before. You have never consoled any friends before, because you have never had any friends to console. Yeah. Anyways, it's not so now, however. You are as far away from your old life as it is possible to be, and the gravedigger does not curse you for your impudence. Neither does she try to squirm away from you. Instead, she sits there, still as a statue, cradled in your arms. Oh, I'm very sorry to show you something so embarrassing. I get so lonely sometimes. Until, at long last, with a breathy sob, she lets the full weight of her body fall against yours. You run your hands against your sobbing companion's shoulder blades. You run your hands against your sobbing companion's shoulder blades and her back, and gently you soothe her. You tell her that she does not need to apologize. There is no shame in crying. You hug her for many minutes while she sobs against your chest, wetting the front of your nightgown. No further words pass between you that night, but they do not need to. Words are irrelevant in a moment as tender as this, shared between two souls who have come to understand one another through mutual loneliness. You slide beneath your sheets. You still feel exhausted, and the gravedigger joins you without asking for permission. It would be an unnecessary piece of politeness, really, given your acceptance is all but assured. You have already accepted the gravedigger, after all, every single inch of her. You have accepted her hospitality. You have accepted her food. Now you are accepting her company. You arrange yourself beneath the sheets, then draw her body to yours. The gravedigger has not yet changed into her nightwear. Her clothes will be horribly rumpled when she awakes come the following morning, her head resting against your chest. But tomorrow has ceased to matter. It no longer exists. There is no concept of time between the two of you, no thought of the day which will dawn once this night inevitably ends. Instead, there is only the warmth shared between you and the wetness on the cheeks of the gravedigger. That could have gone that could have gone in a much different direction. There is the sound, irregular now and less intense than before, of your companion's muted, muffled sobs. There is this gentle, tender moment snatched in the midst of a deep, dark night which can never be replaced. Your eyelids feel heavy, as though weighed down with stones. They droop inexorably downwards, pulling you like a drowning maiden into the dark, impenetrable abyss of slumber. Okay, here's the big moment. Am I gonna wake up, being buried alive? You yawn. Then you fall asleep, cozied up beside the gravedigger like two cats in a basket. You sleep and you sleep and you sleep more deeply than you have allowed yourself in quite some time. Yep, here we go. But when you awake, you find that you are no longer in the bed upon which you slept in, surrounded by sheets. The gravedigger, too, is nowhere to be seen. Instead, you are quite alone, lying by yourself in the dark. You blink, but your surroundings do not become any clearer. Is it the middle of the night? Perhaps you were roused from your slumber by the desire to relieve yourself, or else slake your thirst. One moment, I'm going to slake my thirst. Your sleep has been awfully disordered as of late, and the smallest of noises have been enough to disturb you. That does not sound quite right, though. You slept well, of that you are certain. Your body feels invigorated, as though it has slumbered for hours and hours. How many hours? You do not know. As usual, you do not know much of anything. You can feel a strange pinching sensation around your chest, however, and around your arms. It would appear as though somebody, but who else could have been save the gravedigger? It would appear as though somebody, but who else could it have been save the gravedigger, changed your attire whilst you were sleeping. That is a startling thought, but the darkness which entombs you is even more so. The darkness which surrounds you is unsettlingly complete. It is so thick you cannot penetrate it. Your newfound woes do not stop, however, at this deep, unnatural darkness. It is cold, too, and you are lying upon something hard, some sort of a stone slab. What is going on? You reach out, but your movements are stymied. There is something heavy lying atop you, something that is limiting your movements. You were anxious before, upon awakening, but at this discovery you feel dang right. I feel dang right aggrieved. A sharp prong of panic pierces you, but you try to suppress it. Hysterics will get you nowhere. In most cases, they only tend to make bad situations even worse. You ought to know that already. You swallow your mounting dread as best you can, though it is coming on thick and fast, and try to squirm. You move your arms outwards, but they do not get very far. There is a wall above you, and walls on either side of you, walls which do not budge no matter how hard you push. Not, I must add, that you can push particularly hard, your anxious state notwithstanding. You have never had much in the upper way of butter strength. What was that? The upper way of butter strength. Oh my God. You have never had much in the upper way of... Oh my God. Shut up. Shut up. You have never had much in the way of upper body strength, nor lower body strength. You do not have much in the way of strength at all. You feel quite helpless as you lie there, out of breath from your meager exertions, unsure of what you should do. You can hardly see a foot in front of your face. You do not know where you are, nor why, but a terrible premonition is beginning to bear down upon you, one which initially you tried to discard. You did not want to accept it as a possibility, but where else could the truth lie? You are lying in a box, hemmed in by walls which offer only a scant few inches for you to stretch in any direction. Where else could you be but a coffin? This has to be a worse way to go than drowning. This is so horrible. Oh my God. The moment you allow yourself to ponder this awful reality is the moment you hear it, the irregular sound of drumming. It is though somebody, though they must be very large, is tapping their fingertips upon the lid of your coffin. That, or it is raining. It is not the fingers of a giantess, though, which is disturbing you, nor is it the falling rain. It is dirt. Yep. The sound continues on, as though it is drilling its way inside your skull. It is relentless. It is merciless. Like the ticking of a great celestial clock, it cannot be stopped. Your time is almost running out. Quickly remember the teachings of, I don't remember the guy's name, but the Kill Bill guy. But you knew that already, didn't you, when you were running through the forest? You ought to have known, silly thing, that you could not outpace your destiny forever. Sooner or later it would catch up with you. You are stubborn, though, and you do not want to accept this. Not content to simply lie there, you cry out. You cry not for your parents, whom you hardly knew, nor for your school friends, who you never had any. Instead, you cry for your new companion, the girl with whom you have been living, and whom you shared one precious, cherished moment. You cry out for the gravedigger. Surely this is some manner of mistake. Once she realizes that you are, in fact, entombed in one of the coffins she is currently filling, for who else would be moving the dirt above you, she will cease her operations at once. She will pull you out of the darkness back into the world of the living, and then she would hold you close. She will embrace you. She cannot mean to cause you any harm, not when she was so good to you and so kind. Why would she bury you? You cry to her so loudly you feel your vocal cords might tear, all while banging against the roof of your compact prison. You cry desperately, helplessly, and to your relief, your cries do not fall upon deaf ears. The sound of the falling soil stops, albeit briefly. Then you hear a voice. The voice is very faint, given it is being filtered through the coffin's sturdy lid, but you recognize it. "So, you're awake then, are you, dear one?" the gravedigger says. She sighs. Then she says in a perplexed sort of voice, "Now that is a pickle. I was hoping you'd be asleep a couple hours more, so the last time we spoke could have been on better terms. If you keep screaming like that, I'm gonna feel bad." Your companion's words, though distant, are unmistakable. You are so tense, you are attuned to every single syllable, and each of them makes you gasp. Was this not a mistake, then? Does she truly mean to bury you alive? You posit this question to the gravedigger as best you can, trying to keep the tremors from your voice as you do so. Perhaps you think, in your optimism, that if you do not let her know how afraid you are, she will reward you for your bravery and let you go. If this was what you were hoping, though, it is in vain. That's right, you do really catch on quick. So, it would appear she really has committed to the task of burying you. What an unfortunate turn of events. Why, though, would she do such a thing? You thought she was your friend. We are friends, the gravedigger says, her voice worryingly offhand, worryingly empty. I am very fond of you. There's nobody dearer to me than you. I've had a really good time with you these last... how long has it been again? I don't remember. Neither do you. Well, if this little detail has slipped both your minds, it can't be all that important. You have other things to worry about. If you really are friends, you say to the gravedigger, then what does she hope to gain by burying you? You do not understand. But you understand to reply even less. Well, here's the thing, the gravedigger says in a reasonable sort of voice, as though burying someone alive could ever be thought of as a reasonable action. I've been digging graves for a long time, see? You cannot see, it is too dark. But you affirm that you do all the same. Well, I was digging all these graves, but I've not had anybody to put them in, not for ages. It was rather sad. You think you know where this train of logic, twisted though it is, might be going, so you do not interrupt her. You know no good would come of it. All you can do for the present is lie there and listen. I was thinking I'd never find another person to bury in this godforsaken village, not after the plague messed everything up. I was getting desperate. Until you came along, that is. Now that I have somebody I can bury, I'm not going to let the opportunity pass me by. I'm sorry, but it's just part of my job. It's what my father taught me to do. It's all I know how to do. I buried my mother and I buried my father. I buried all my friends. Now I'm going to bury you too. It is sound logic in a sense, as the daughter of a gravedigger digging graves is her job, but something about it rankles you. If only you could put your finger on it. Ah, yes, there is a bit of a flaw with her reasoning, is there not? You are not dead, after all. You might not be dead now, the gravedigger says in response to your ingenuity, but you will be, given enough time. I mean, everybody else I've known has died. Who's to say you wouldn't be next? It seems rather more likely that you will die, and quickly, if she persists with this poorly thought-out plan to bury you. Your coffin is not very large. It affords you precious little space. Eventually, if trapped within it for long enough, you will run out of oxygen. Then you will suffocate. That, or you will starve to death. Either way, your demise will be slow and painful. You are unsure which death would be worse, though given how precarious your situation is, you do not wish to expend the necessary energy needed to ponder it. You need to plead with the gravedigger, and quickly, while she is still here. You tell her tearfully that you would not leave her. Why would you? You try to sound as convincing as your disordered nerves will allow, but the gravedigger remains unmoved. You say that, the gravedigger says, but how can I know you're telling the truth? I thought you said you were a traveler. They never stay put in one place for long. You get sick of me before long, then you'd leave me. This way, at least I can be assured that we will always stay together. If I bury you like this, like I did the others, we'll never be far apart. I even took care to put you in a nice spot close to my home, so's you're only a stop at the so's you're only a stone's throw away, really. Isn't that nice? Privately, you think that the gravedigger has a different conception of the word nice to you. You do not say this, however. You cannot say much of anything because the panic has begun to set in. It is choking you, stopping up your throat so you can only cry. You scream, you beg and you plead, but it does little good. The gravedigger has already buried her mother. She has already buried her little brothers. She has even buried her father, whom she loved above all else. She thinks by burying you, she is doing unto you an act of great kindness. You think that she is going to kill you. In a sense, you are both right. Your opinions are so diametrically opposed on this matter, however, that you will never be able to find any common ground. You might as well save your screaming. She will not listen to you. She is beyond listening. "Oh, shush, shush, dear one," says the gravedigger, very gently, just as gently as she spoke last night when she confided in you all of her fears. "It won't be so bad, really. Nothing'll be able to hurt you down there. It'll be just like going to sleep for a really, really long time. You can rest, and while you rest, I'll tend to you. I'll plant flowers on your grave. You'd like that, wouldn't you? This way we can always be together, and I'll never be lonely again." While the gravedigger speaks, she begins to pile even more soil onto the roof of your coffin. The sound of dirt on top of you, on your arms, your legs, and your head conceals your companion's final words. You cannot hear her. You cannot hear anything beyond the sound of the dirt and the scrapings of the shovel and your own desperate, frantic screams. You scream and you scream and you scream without cease until your throat feels hoarse, but your efforts are in vain. You hammer the lid on the coffin with as much strength as you can muster, but the lid of the coffin is nailed shut. You are in no position to remove it. All you can do is lie there, screaming and crying and banging your fists on the roof of the coffin, over and over, as more dirt and debris falls on top of you. Eventually, enough dirt falls on you to stifle your screams for good. The gravedigger can no longer hear you, and you can no longer hear her. You are all alone, trapped in a narrow wooden box which, regardless of what you want, is your new home. You smell the soil in the backs of your nostrils while you inhale. It is so potent you can taste it on your tongue. You can taste the eventual, inevitable decay of your own body. You will remain trapped here underground forever and ever. Or, to use less melodramatic terms, until the last of your energy escapes you and you succumb to your own slow suffocation. It isn't a very pleasant way to go, but you'll forgive me if my sympathy is limited. You did bring this upon yourself, you know. You reap what you sow, and in your case you made a series of bad decisions which led to your untimely demise. Now, what do you want to do? Will you accept this fate of yours and rest in peace, or will you try and fight against it? Well, I'm gonna have to fight against it, see what happens. I've gone through all three pathways. I want to see if there's a fourth pathway with whoever this narrator, potentially which person is. Are you not happy with the hand of fate? Are you not happy with the hand that fate has dealt you? Very well, I cannot blame you. It is quite a grim ending. I would not wish it upon my worst enemy. And you are rather dearer to me than that. Dear one, it's all coming together. Why don't we give this another go? Just try not to be buried alive this time. I can only endure so much of your screaming. Your fate is, once again, in your hands. Now I wonder, which path will you take? Okay, I'm gonna end things here. I'm excited to see what this final secret path is gonna be. I am, of course, guessing that it's a final secret path. It could just immediately end the game, and the next video is gonna be like a minute long, but hopefully there's a secret final path which will be fun to explore. I'm guessing it's going to be a witch who has been the narrator that's been talking to us and the person who's been chasing us through the forest. I think if I'd done the mermaid route first, I would have been a lot more suspicious of something bad happening. I don't think I would have suspected anything with this village person, who I guess didn't even turn out to be a ghost or undead or anything. She just buried me alive. Also, it's really annoying that I got sick for like all of February, so I like patiently waited to start putting out videos in March, and then I got sick for like most of March, so I ended up missing out on a bunch of videos anyways. So what the fuck? Anyways, I am super excited to see how this game ends. And I hope you are too. Thank you so much for watching, and see you in the next one. Goodbye!